Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another episode of The Quad Life. Well, for the last couple of weeks now, we have been doing not quite, but almost daily videos about life with a spinal cord injury. So, talked about work, secondary conditions, depression, and caregivers. And looking down, we can see there's been more items as well. So, one of the biggest problems, of course, has been caregivers. As I said in that video, that there just really aren't enough to go around. And it's not only me, it's people that are all over the country and really even the world that need more help. So, what is a solution that we could do for this? And how can we maybe get the help that people need? Well, obviously, the first and best solution would be to have more caregivers and that they would have better funding and really could just have more go around. And in that way, people like myself could live in their own home possibly and say, instead of even living with my parents, that I could do like I did in college and have my own apartment and I had people with me 24/7 and I could, do my own thing. I could work, make my own meals, and just, be an independent adult. So that would be the best solution. And that is what I would hope that we could get back to. But it's unfortunate that I don't see that happening anytime soon. If we look around us at other jobs as well, we see that there's pretty well a shortage for, well, about every job placement. And I recently saw a statistic that worldwide we have a low birth rate. So that means that more people are eventually dying off than that we're getting. I've seen other statistics that say the opposite, that we have more births than we do deaths annually. But either way, it's something, a concern to look at. So when we have more older people, that we need more younger persons to replace them. But for whatever the reason, right now, that is not happening. So then we need to look at other solutions. And living in a traditional nursing home, that is really not an option for a lot of us. I know that in Iowa alone, there are only like 4 or 5 places that will take someone like myself that is on a ventilator 24/7, or at least some type of ventilator, and that I need total care for myself. So that means that we have to be several hours away from home, or at least where we grew up, our community, and live with a whole bunch of other people. And again, we have the caregiver problem that there's usually not enough people to go around. So you may have like one CNA that is responsible for, say, 14 people. Well, that is not a good situation to have either. And I've heard of several situations that someone ends up going to a nursing home and within, say, 6 months, they've passed away. They do not get turned enough, or that they get pressure sores, or like I've had and not getting moved around enough that they get pneumonia and problems with their lungs. So, what is the solution then? And really, how can we get over these obstacles? Well, recently I heard about a housing project that is in my own community, but one that may offer some um, relief if it is done right. So, the project that I heard about is called Forward with Faith, and it is the result of a family whose son needed care, but like so many of us, there was not really a good place that he could go once his parents were no longer able to help him. So they made a type of group home that houses, I believe, normally 3 or 4 people, and they all have like similar needs that they then have just a couple caregivers that can help them. So, from what I have heard, this has worked out fairly well, and they have 2 houses here in my hometown, one for guys and one for gals. And I know one of the ladies that lives in these places, and she likes it very well. And after a recent stay in the hospital, she was eager to go back to be with her friends and the home where she was living at. So these are good solutions that getting people of similar needs together. So this is something that I had in mind as well that may at least be a temporary solution for something like we have going on now. So my thinking would be to have 3 or at most 4 quadriplegics that say need vents and total care living in like a regular house that each would have their own room, but then maybe have, say, one nurse, one CNA, and one RT person, so that you still get one person per individual that can take care of different needs, but yet still living enough that you are not in a traditional nursing home and can maybe get all the care that you need. Um, so the idea will be to have multiple ones in per state and maybe even have, I don't know, thinking off the top of my head here is not a great idea, but it's kind of the ideas that I get every now and then. Is it as good as living on your own? No, not completely, but still maybe a temporary solution. So people could work kind of like I do, but I would also want to make it so that, say, there's options for exercise like the bike that I use, or a way that you could go and, say, work off site, that you have nursing or whatever services you need in order to be able to go out. It would take quite a bit to fund all this and even to get it started, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it other than um, having an idea in my head. But that is just something that I've been thinking of and wanted to get out there. I don't know that it'll ever happen, but it is at least a temporary solution for a situation that appears to be just getting worse among most of us that have significant needs for caregivers and that our parents continue to get older and can no longer necessarily do our full cares. But that's my idea for today. So I guess thank you for listening to my musings, and I'll see you next time on the Quad Life. Bye for now.